only application here is to get Alpha Air into positions where he can really do damage. So that's something that we have to see value from, and it has to be early on. Considering how that first map went and the sort of things we question when we look at Furia versus Fnatic as a matchup, Furia now can lean on being just a slippery entity on Breeze.
Yeah.
Because you can get away with so many of these random reclearances, you know, these second hits towards mid and things like this that can really catch Fnatic off guard.
And all the pressure in the world will be on Fnatic's shoulders. There's no two ways to say it. They have got to be feeling the burn. Now, Durka instantly going to get things started for themselves, though. Headhunter down towards Tube, going to take down Mezin. So already, good start, and they'll be happy enough with this.
So you're looking to re-peek onto this, and Durka's happy to receive it. Well, Fury going to dig their heels into the current formation, as I think Fnatic are anticipating a little bit of aggression behind this first blood. I don't think it's going to come, though. Solid control through elbow towards B as well. Ooh, the timing, actually. Almost disastrous for Durka there, just turned his back. And actually, Bosa's the one to fall in mid on the back of this.
Interesting. Did he hear the steps? I think he did. Lovely shot for Alpha. And the gap trying to be filled there, but the movement's key. Alpha just running rings around him. Still alive, keeping his life safe. Durka there to make sure he's kept safe as well. Khalil goes down. So very nicely done so far. You can see the kind of craft work behind this, what they're trying to achieve a little here. Now, 2 players remaining on the other side. Difficult to find a way in now.
Yeah, happy to put himself on the line here, but quickly dealt with. Actually, a 2v3 presented here for Furia as well. Durka, I think, just inside range of his TP here, but actually does get the hell out of dodge. We've got a chance here. The aftershock going to come through, and actually misread a little bit here. Mystic will pick up the kill on the back of it. It should be a formality.
Clean.
Not that there's anything left to say here. I'll just damage remove some of these pistols, but I mean, only classics in the hands of Enzo and Durka, regardless. Fnatic to post the pistol round here. Initially a little concerning, similar thing to what we talked about on Icebox, with Bosa falling a little ahead of that regroup towards one site. Losing some of that utility, but beautifully mitigated by Alfia. Actually, great reactive use of the fault line as well from Mystic, and that's something that even here in the pistol round to see it kind of set up, whether or not Mystic's going to be kind of slightly disconnected from some of these site hits just to get a deeper fault line back towards, you know, the back of 8 site behind Pyramid. Now an Alfia to burst onto site.
Constantly just enjoying how they want to try and activate Alpha here in this, how they're going to try and bring him in on this map. And of course, is there a response for Fury? Are they able to think on their feet quick enough here to deal with this already? You can see the issues about to begin. And all of the site's been just completely wrapped up. And okay, maybe not so wrapped. Enzo's gone down. Yet to fully make their entrance out of main, there's still some problems here. So 2 players still noted. Didn't get the full picture, but Bosta can at least pry out one of the players who's trying to keep the information free flowing. But there is that one player close, and I do see that shorty. I'm still a little worried about that.
Rifles in the hands of Mystic and Alfia though, so yeah, a lot of punch into this purchase, and again trying to make a mad play with the shorty, but well handled this time around.
Okay, it's not. It's. I mean, we say that. I just keep getting a little nervous because it's 37 seconds. A plant should come in. And look at what they've got remaining. I guess there is that recovered Marshall, so that's something. Doesn't get much for it, and the classics handled. But 2 players found, a little bit of probing, but not too much.
And definitely something I want to see cleaned up on this map is these anti-ecos from Fnatic, right? Because they were so problematic on Icebox, and Furia really able to, I mean, run away with a couple of rounds that they had absolutely no right to have a say in. Let alone win or do some damage. Yeah. They were actually closing them out. Even some post plants, they were retaking on thrifty rounds.
It seems unthinkable to kind of roll my mind back to it, but you're right. So something to check on as we go through this game, I guess. But the bonus, I mean, look at this purchase, Mike. It's looking pretty even, honestly.
That was close too, yeah. Bulldog in the hands of Durka.
Revealing area.
Now for straight up middle, I'm liking this. The pace. This could be something. Let's see if Furia can keep up with this. I mean, Brazilian team's synonymous with it normally, but the 1-for-1 trade out. Alpha still standing. Huge follow-up, and he already predicts that player towards CT. Takes a boatload of damage, though. Gets denied any springboard, but the site's now going to be taken. Boaster catching that lurk in towards middle, punishing anyone trying to filter back through towards site, and the last two players tunneled and funneled through towards CT.
What a beautiful setup for this split as well, with the fast lane and then the Viper wall being invested from mid here. Real pace change from Fnatic.
Last player
See
standing.
2 left to find. Khalil will fall. Doesn't do any damage here. We can remove some of these, force the repurchase, but Fnatic going to make that very difficult for him. The timing just not there.
Wrapped, and it is. And again, how many looks of these do we get of Fnatic here? Because I feel like map 1 has certainly now amplified that Fnatic do need to be bringing out big game, right? This isn't, can't coast this, can't keep anything in the pocket for deeper run. You're already being challenged here in the elimination of the group stage, so there's nothing to be left behind now.
Well, I think that's a little appetizer maybe for this being the ace up the sleeve, right? A little execute like this is some of the things that, you know, some of the magic that Fnatic were famed for so early on. How many of those do they have up their sleeve, though?
That's what I want to see. Genuinely, I'm quite interested because, as we've said, they have been specialists. They've been able to carve out maps for themselves. They've been back in the lab for some time. And if this is what they've created, what they've cooked up, really exciting to see. And for Furia, a tough lesson to learn here, potentially. But for now, we talk about those anti-egos, keeping them clean, trying to mitigate the danger, navigate around it. This is another test for Fnatic here. Already, swiftness, Alpha, this is perfect. Love seeing this man get activated on the stage. We didn't get to see the best of him before, but this was one of the straight-up rookies of the year in my mind, who came in and absolutely dominated online. Now we maybe get to see him put into position to frag out.
Leading the charge for Fnatic here. Far comes through.
Planted.
With 2 members of Furia left to find. Enzo actually hit pretty early, 67 HP, so I don't want to see him give away a weapon here, but should be able to keep this in check. There's a spray. It's when you hope nobody's watching, but
Last player standing.
formality at this point. One return onto Alpha, yeah, and just a matter of time. Mystic going to clean things up now. 3 standing once again for Fnatic, so should give them a little buffer now for the finances. Some of these ultimates about coming online for Fnatic as well. Beautiful round for Alpha, yeah. Confidence here in the anti-eco as well.
And
we put this one in the replay.
And I think for me, it's seeing them come off of the back of probably quite a stunning loss, being able to pick themselves up and perform confidently. Massive, massive boost, I'm sure, for Alpha here after a relatively quiet map 1. He wasn't terrible. He was just quite middling for his performance. This is good to see.
He played out of that game, to be honest.
He was. He had no room to play in this. And again, we're back to seeing this mid-piece. Now, last time, they had more intent behind this. It's a fake. It's almost an evolution on that first hit.
Actually, the ping could be the deciding factor, but Alpha, yeah, still gets the turn. Lands the headshot, and 3 members of Fnatic positioned outside double doors. There's only 1 left on A site here for Furia.
Yeah, this is brutal. Playing towards the back of yellow. Fnatic have the perfect split towards this. 3 players coming in through from CT, but again, the cross is really the only contested part. And one of the shots hits, but the rest all fail parlously as Fnatic make their way towards the site. Need to recover the spike, and Mystic going to keep things safe towards CT. There's just 1 left standing, as in unfortunate position to be in, really. There's 4 against you for Fnatic, and the plant going to come down. This is lovely, Mike. And again, Mazin might do some damage here, but I really want to expand on that little adjustment on that mid hit that came in here. Seeing versatility and diligence throughout this Mystic to close down the round. 5-0.
Absolutely, and what they're almost doing is baiting Furia into setup for this execute, right? Either stack people very deep on site, or to overstep the mark in mid, right? Trying to challenge that fast lane, and even challenge the Viper wall going up. This time around, again, it's actually both sides of this wall. There's a real lack of information. Actually, this kill is so crucial, because the recon bolt is something that ultimately puts, you know, a couple of players in elbow or towards tunnel in a position to really shut down Boaster and Alpha yet.
And as it stands, I want to see a timeout for Furia. They need to get some sort of grip on this game because it's spiraling out of their control. And I feel like they've just been absolutely blown out of the water, completely stunned. Butch coming in for Furia here. It's 3 Marshals, a Sheriff, and a Classic. Well, Headhunter.
Tour de force.
He's got too many weapons,
he's got
Michael.
something. He's got something to throw in this.
Let's see what he does with it. Not easy.
Early information, at least. It's a bold peek through. Whether or not Boaster just spotted him, actually. You see on the minimap, he's posted up now, looking this direction. Really, with where the rest of Fnatic are positioned, there's no flash, there's no stun or anything to really put him online. As Khalil going to open things up onto Durka. Now that's Operator down.
And again, Alpha just going to unleash the lightning gun in hand and actually loses. Thought that was his for free. A little bit sloppy here, but again, 3 still standing. Plant going to be coming in pretty soon. That's a shot. Mazin, great connection towards Boaster. Hold on, and look at the wrap coming in as well. There's now problems in this. Nowhere safe to Plant. Enzo's dead. Mystic needs a miracle. He needs something here. 3 players with very complementary angles for each other, and so little safety for him.
Almost pinched here. 23 HP left to work with. Gonna find the first though, and a decent opportunity to reset. Got the fault line back up, still got the aftershock to play with as well.
Does he get timed on this though? I'm waiting to see.
Got the spike.
And he had a belting map 1. Huge performance.
Great start to map 2.
Certainly is. 8 frags already by the name, and this is where things become
Spike planted.
problematic.
Yeah.
It's done.
It's a thrifty round. Finally doing a little bit of damage here, and actually a much needed round. Won't really benefit too much in terms of the economy, and actually looking at, I think the Rolling Thunder did come out there. Obviously Alpha are investing his ultimate as well. See how it lies for Fnatic after that, but beautiful conversion. Again, to shut Alpha down there. Boaster, unfortunately, just slipping ahead of Bricks here. Gets punished for it. Actually, yeah. Fnatic come out of this with the Viper's Pit and the Tour de Force still available. The other side of things, Blade Storm and the Viper's Pit. A couple of these players from Furia having a slower start here, considering what was 5-0 scoreline on Icebox. Everybody firing on all cylinders previously. It's another set piece.
Yeah, it certainly is straight through the door. And look at the speed on this. The combination of the back of the Neon to the Viper wall, giving them so much ability to just close the gap, even on a map like this, but still need to land the shots, and Khalil still stands. Gonna get the 1-for-1 trade out. Durka will at least trade back through into this, but the site's theirs. So already good work for Fnatic. They'll be happy enough with this.
Spike planted.
Boaster's got to be careful here. Actually does get cleared, but Mazin will fall. It's a huge kill to find. Durka will find one elsewhere as well. And a comfortable post plant now for Fnatic.
Oh, they'll be chuffed with this. Shouldn't have too many threats. Yeah, I think it's almost just looking like a save operator in play as well. Yep. That's going to be trying to be kept. But again, this is what I like seeing from Fnatic. We're seeing varied looks now. And Mike, the utility work coming out between, I guess, it's really Alpha and Boaster at the start of things, coupled with that breach. It's so hard to handle. It's so tailor-made to just somehow carve up one of the most long-range maps.
Yeah, it is, and like I said, the investment of the fault line actually allows, with these splits coming through mid, on the back of this fast lane that goes on the right side of Pillar, Alpha can get all the way towards, you know, back side, behind Pyramid to make use of these fault lines. So there's very few places that Furia probably feel like they can play comfortably, right? I mean, there's only really the TP, maybe the dash from Mazin as well, to kind of get out of those sorts of spots, but it makes setting up for these executes very, very difficult. And obviously on Breeze, it's even harder to rely on retakes. It's one of the hardest maps to retake either side sometimes.
Yeah, it's a nice theory crafted piece.
There.
The problem being, Fnatic keep finding first bloods off of this as well. So just off the you know, the very basics of some of these executions, it already puts Furia at a disadvantage.
Oh.
Very early on. And there's another one.
Yeah, it's looking so easy. And look at the damage done as well. Forced away instantly. Fnatic are just flying through this map. This is huge for them. Needing this after what was a very stark, bitter map 1.
A wake-up call.
Yep. Showing such signs of life. Playing as 5. Loved that. Just waiting for the swing out over towards B. Punishing Mazin on that first contact and then just spiraling towards the site.
When you look at what worked on Icebox, it was Furia's ability to get ahead of some of these setups, but the pace is totally different here from Fnatic. I mean, Spike Plant's coming through before we've hit 122 on the clock. That's with 2 kills coming through as well, which Fnatic traditionally aren't a very fast-paced teams. And so in terms of these executes, they're usually kind of mid-rounds after they've, you know, done these kind of fact-finders and figured out exactly how the defense are playing. Then they have very solid, well-choreographed executes, right? Yep. Fnatic aren't usually the ones to have somebody bursting through spawn barriers and challenging immediately. So Furia are going to really struggle to set up. And then the questions come. We're playing against Fnatic, right? How deep is the strat book? How many of
That's
these
the thing.
executes have they got?
And how many variations on them, again, because you may learn, like, okay, when they do X and Y, these pieces of utility, this is the response. It's so hard to then adjust on that if they do have a slight adjustment.
They haven't got time to react off some of these indicators at all.
Because Alpha's he's on the doorstep in a second's time. And it's good to see Alpha kind of used this way. I feel like we hadn't seen him fully unleashed on people yet, but this is the first time we're really seeing him being propped up on, set into motion, and once again, this is a little bit of a different look here. He's trying to maybe hold him at the door. Nice underhand flash does slow down the hit, but can they somehow deny this? The purchase is far from good as well, and now you can see the layers to this. Still doing damage, Khalil still standing. Can at least deny a little bit of this early work, but again, Furia, so little room on this site.
Spike planted.
Oh, Mystic lucky
Deploying
not to
drone.
get caught there.
Enemy mark.
Get tagged on the way back through, but a Rolling Thunder and Hunter's Fury have to address the backline, and Marzin's here actually will remove one of these pieces. They run a second as well onto Boaster.
That's a big shot, and they knew where Mystic was. That ultimate could be an issue, and it has to be addressed at the right time here. A tap on the spike, Mystic, surely his mind starts to wander. Tries to deal with it now, gonna try and pull him away. Muzzin found him though, and the timing of the pinch is lovely.
I just spotted something, by the way. Mystic's been playing a lot of these early rounds in Tube, you know, when they're looking towards these mid-splits or even that. The flash comes through the floor of Tube to actually set them up through double doors.
So even,
and it's little pieces like that that there can be somebody in position to enable that sort of push immediately. And there's not really anywhere a breach can find a comfortable flash.
Yeah, you're right.
The flash comes through the wall right here.
Wow.
Those are the little things. You can watch a Fnatic execute 3 or 4 times and then notice one little piece or positioning or something. It's like, yeah, okay.
You've really thought that
hats
through,
off,
huh?
Minnie. Yeah, well played, dude.
Yeah. I mean, he's been, as I said, in the lab cooking
So
up
I was thinking he's going up
treats.
Tube to find, you know, fault
want
lines
to
to
play?
backside.
Sure.
The flash is actually beautiful.
That's really nice. It's quite an enjoyable game to watch in such a different way to map 1. This is such a stark contrast. Looks like Durka this time going on exploration mission. And for Furia, I feel like how you ever meant to learn this. I mean, you need a game in hand almost to watch what they're doing, to try and catch up on the fly. 2 rounds, actually quite impressive they got this far. Durka looks
Check
a little
right
dead.
side.
Here, he's
Shot
dead.
down.
Yep,
Scanning
that's
ahead.
going to be a big component removed here. And a much slower look for Fnatic this time.
And time to actually react on one of these early indicators as well. It's Durka, right? Expect him to be looking for a pick elsewhere, create a little bit of pressure in that lurking position. No rotation comes out from it, though. So Furia feeling fairly comfortable or confident about this B site hold. Standing the test.
It's just Khalil's jump spot that's keeping it all together, basically. That's it. There's the contact we made. May have noted Alpha here on the way in. Aldrin to follow, but he's already on the side. He's already on the back lines. You can't slow this guy down. He's just a speed demon. Boaster's found one as well.
Wait, the snakebite landed on his TP. He TP'd off the top pillar and died to the snakebite. What?
Come on. Come on. This is unthinkable scenes. Alpha fully blind, should get swung on here, so the retake is on. There is still a chance this, but you got the Viper's Pit now to try and navigate through.
Able to get a lot of information here, clearing out very early on, but they have to come in and challenge the Viper. So Mystic finds the first, the second 2.
Gorgeous from Mystic. He's actually got it right. So they find him in time. Is it Mystic with 3? Patrolling on the other side, just being given nothing. Time now starts to be the biggest opponent in these seconds that are just ticking away. And Fnatic, I've got to say it, I am bloody impressed with this.
It's beautiful to watch.
Wow.
Really beautiful. I mean, not unless you're a Furia fan, because there's not an awful lot you can do about some of these executions. The precision of the utility just makes it so hard to even contest first contact, right?
Yep.
I mean, you don't want to swing out here as any of this utility takes shape in the choke point.
This just feels like the first time we got to see Optic running that fracture, you know, lineup and how it looked. And you needed that game in pocket to come up with a plan. You need to be going over this game because, again, this is brutally hard to deal with because it's so unorthodox to anything we see on Breeze.
Revealing area.
And again, this fast mid piece, we're seeing it play through. Alpha is set into motion by all that utility put into play. Mazin trying to deal with this though. Going to commit himself towards main, which is not necessarily a bad idea, but Fnatic still get 2. They still carve their way into the site. Spike's going to be going down, I'm pretty sure uncontested here. Nothing to stop this or slow it down. And once again, Furia cannot handle that front line.
Really can't. They keep actually committing to these opening duels without really any sort of tangible setup. There's I mean, a lack of utility in some parts, but again, it's just so difficult. It's overwhelming. Once more, you see that flash come through, like I said, from Mystic to make sure Alfia's got safe passage. The wall goes up, cuts off everybody that's in front of it. Fnatic can just rinse and repeat, honestly.
I don't think we've seen Furia really come up with a game plan at all.
This is something that you need to study these sorts of odds to be able to come up with a plan to counteract this.
And there is slight irony in seeing Furia the ones punished by such aggression. That name is so
Yeah,
synonymous
exactly, yeah.
with aggression. Well-constructed aggression too, not just kind of, you know, running it down, but 9-2. This is one for the VODs. This is one to pour over, one to really enjoy going back through and really trying to break down all the bits and pieces towards us. I'd have liked to have seen potentially Furia trying to take extremities and putting a lot of commitment behind it over towards, you know, main, pushing out towards A main potentially, trying to challenge towards cave, maybe having to give up site. I'd like to see them try and adjust, but I can't really blame them for being just stun-locked by this.
Well, you look at what worked well for them on Icebox was understanding what Fnatic were doing, right?
Yeah.
And understanding the early round. I'm going to hold my breath once again because it's another variation. Actually going to try and fake this time around with the wall towards B here. Durka going to open things up. Alfia actually punishes a player.
Both sides of the map.
Yeah, both sides of the map.
Again, as much as I say, yeah, okay, take cave
It's all
control.
encompassing.
Yeah, but you just got to beat Durka with the operator. You got to, you know, get past some of the best players in the world who are holding pretty strong positions, and it's a formality at 10-2. Fnatic are very much in form here, Mike. This has been a totally different look to what I expected.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you see this come out, Fnatic very often are not ones you look at and go, well, maybe they've thought of something if they've left this out. It's the wild card, and talk about ace up the sleeve, whatever. This is the Uno reverse. Where you get stomped like that on your home ground on map 1, you have to pull this out here in map 2.
Well, Fnatic have certainly answered back in kind. Furia need to think on their feet, or map 3 is on the way. Desk, your thoughts?
Oh, boy.
And by all accounts, I do feel as though this surely is going to map 3 here. It needs something catastrophic to happen, Michael.
Don't say
Michael, the odds. They're so unlikely.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
Ooh, it starts with a pistol, right?
It does all
gets
start
it.
with a pistol.
Whoa, it's, you know, map 3.
And I'm intrigued as well. I mean, Ryan makes a good point. It'll be interesting to see how Mystic is applied in this second half as well, whether or not Fnatic are even going to have to rely on a couple of these rounds where he gets very proactive. Speaking of proactive, I was in actually eating a flash ahead of it there, and that's the spike down. Enzo's found 2 and the spike.
Didn't love the spike being lost there, but I guess a special delivery. Just going to leave it up towards Tube. That's kind of them. And now the 3 remaining. How are you going to get that back? You've got site control, yes, but there's the issue.
Just huddled around the spike.
Right. Fnatic are probably going to just really hold this down, aren't they? Furia, what you got? That's a start. That's opened up a chance towards this now. A little bit of damage, a lot of damage done. Down to 5 HP. Poster waiting for anyone else to try and make their way up towards the stairs, and 37 seconds.
45 as well. It's not something you really want to try and rely on, but it's back up here in Tube.
30
Khalil,
seconds left.
unnoted as of yet. It's Boaster, the one that should pick this up. He's looking the wrong direction right now.
Okay, this is it, guys. You had the spike. It's in a weird spot.
One
Should have been fine, but Furia are finding their way back in, and it's just on Boaster. 13 seconds though. The spike's already on the site, so that opportunity is stop. But look at the HP. It's only Khalil.
They have no idea where Boaster is.
Spike planted.
But he's got a 1v1. A fair 1v1.
You can just stick this.
He has no idea about that though. He's none the wiser. How would he ever know this? A gamble, maybe. He takes just a chance. A shot in the dark. Boaster not brave enough to do it and gets punished for it. First round for Furia in the second half.
It's a little, again, it's an unorthodox spot for the spike to be dropped, and I just don't think Fnatic make a solid decision. Nobody's, like I said, there's one player playing towards spawn here. They still get somebody completely unnoted swinging through nest, and then Khalil's able to completely backstab that setup. So it happens, though, right? It all starts with a pistol, doesn't it?
Yep.
It's the same.
That's the saying. We're fine. We're fine.
Should be.
I mean, it's Fnatic. New comp,
It should be
crazy.
fine. Well,
Why do the
B-side
Deathsqueeze-
stack here.
Okay, see? Here we go. They'll do lots of damage here, Fnatic.
Some information on the back of the knife as well, actually, confirming both players.
Still missing. Yeah, Dirk is going to find Khalil. And you're feeling a bit worried now at this point, or at least I would be. Noting a couple too many players getting panic-stricken. Now, luckily for them, they've pulled it back slightly, but it's certainly red alert still. Good connection off the Headhunter, going to put Dirk to bed. And now just 2 left alive for Fnatic, but the damage has been achieved. This is still pretty good damage, but they have been able to back away here.
What can they retrieve, though, in terms of the weapons? I'm not sure.
What got left?
I mean, the one Bulldog, yes, but looking at it, because it was a very, very frugal purchase from Furia. Yeah, Mystic unable to get anything other than the classic here, but see what Enzo can get done with the Bulldog. Actually, yeah, you can see already the positioning tube going to give away these audio clues as to where Fnatic are planning to retake from. Yeah, with this scoreline, you want to see all 3 weapons saved across here, so you need to try and retrieve this Bulldog and prevent any further damage. We'll do just that, but I don't think actually they can get the weapon across.
They're just in there really saving things, though, because that round was getting absolutely out of hand.
I mean, at one point, Marzin's stuck on B side by Pillar with 7 HP.
Yeah.
If he falls there, I mean,
it's cooked.
it makes the retreat with the spike even more difficult.
Yep. Just again, see the absolute bailout that this man put in. Close down the end. Having a great performance, honestly, from map 1 to map 2. Very nice. Here, though, Mike, I mean, the buy is... should, again, this is the first big test, right? If we actually have a game on our hands, or if, you know, map 3 feels really quite inevitable.
They're going to pop off this null command, though. I think they're looking to step
Look at the pace! Straight up tube. They don't need the Neon to do it. They're just going to go for it themselves. Going to open up the door and then switch back around towards main potential. Maybe lurk towards doors. Very mobile work coming in from the chamber. Very
the null
furious.
command's going to pin Fnatic in spawn.
This is huge. What a nice site take. Now, they still need to get the plant down and kind of get a little bit comfier into the post plant, but...
taking a while.
Yeah, a couple more seconds than maybe they'd like, but Spike now down. Let's look at this post plant. What do they have for it?
Nothing really actually even noted. No snake bites for Khalil.
Teleport's ready.
Someone's going to rely on this one coming through. Now, the double doors lurk is something to consider. You can see Fnatic looking that way. But as 5, they just swing onto site, and actually does get punished from double doors. Alfie had to fall.
So slippery in this. He's been everywhere at once. He was the one who made it up towards Tube, but it's Enzo to find one. But again, he's still firing in. Oh,
my God!
Perfect! Pins down 3 and punishes Furia, flexing here. This is gorgeous. What the hell is this game?
I don't even want to say it again, though, but it's another round where it's a lesser purchase, and Furia just have so much bite.
Help.
They almost play like twice as aggressive in some of the rounds where they have half the inventory.
What is this? He was the one who absolutely hooned it up Tube, opens up the door, dips back out. Oh,
He's everywhere.
You can't get away
He's
from him.
everywhere.
Fnatic pump the brakes, and I think they need to. You don't want to open up the door for Furia now.
Now, to play devil's advocate, with
Please
this
do.
comp, you need to do something on defense, right? Because this is where you then start to question, it's always the way, right? When it comes to defense, what can you achieve with the Neon, right? Can you get ahead and really disrupt some of these early setups, especially if Fury are going to spread in the default, which traditionally they do not.
Yep.
But then you then dial back a little bit further, and what's the value of the breach, right? What are we going to do in terms of achieving a little bit of map control early on? That's what we need to see from Fnatic. Haven't really been able to get a solid footing yet in this second half, so I'm not saying it's not there, but these are the sorts of questions then we start to ask with these new comps.
Okay, and
And
you're
why
right.
it's not favoured, but
No, absolutely. I like that question of longevity when it comes to these compositions. Because
you need to see both sides of the coin.
Absolutely, and we did the same when we talked about, you know, even in the early days, talking about, you know, Fracture and the application of Neon there. Does it fully work all the way through? Does it
Look where
look as
teams
good?
lend. Look where they lend. They were getting proactive, and it's always it's always the way to apply this on both sides where teams really find success.
Well, that it does put the marker back with Fnatic to find that, right? Like, again, in this one, they weren't super deadly in their kind of, not necessarily force buys, it's a little bit of a purchase, but, you know, a couple of marshals, but Bit interesting, just going for the picks across the board. See if they can do any damage. So keep your eyes on the HP on the left-hand side. If Furia get chipped down, that's when problems can begin. And look at the stack.
Look at that money start to swell, though. On the back of just carrying 3 Bulldogs into the previous.
Oh yeah, 6, 4.
Like I said, what's the default? What is the default here? What extremity do you pressure here with Mystic and Alfia?
Well, Mazin hadn't put himself the first one in, but it's supposed to find the shot. Khalil's gone down. And there's still so many threats here. They're trying to do everything. It's just no scoping away. Fair enough. And now a 2v3. What has just happened? Left in tatters. Only feeling devastated with this one. 1 bullet left to play with. He loses out on Durka, but Bosa's still alive. 2 kills this time, and they have no idea he's still here. Surely they'll check on this.
He's missed the reposition, though.
Poison's off.
But now he'll heal it. Yep. So Jazine actually able to get himself onto default, but it's QCK you got to worry about in this scenario.
Oh my god, Boaster gives away the game a little. Does Alpha manage to bail him out? That's the last shot done. He needs to load some more up, but he can't do it in time. And now just Alpha. 1v2. So much damage. And this man, the Wonder Kid himself, he needs it. Not going to get it. Okay, closed down again. This guy, Digizin, is looking hot in this game, to be fair. He's kept a couple of these rounds safe.
This next buy round is crucial.
Oh, we're already here. We're already here.
Operator going to come out for Durka. I'm already worried. No, seriously, I am already worried. This next buy round for Furia is huge. And actually on the other side of that, the things we just talked about ahead of this Thrifty round.
Sure.
We have to see it from Fnatic here. But there's no tangible part of Furia's setup. It might actually be A main. Look at the setup here. This potentially is it through shop.
You have to see this emotion. Over towards A.
He's going to go behind the knife, I think.
Let's have a look towards when they decide to pull the trigger on this. Yes, they're going to take 2 control again. We've seen this look before. Fast up, open door. And did dip away last time. Doesn't this time and gets punished. That's different. Durka going to get that first pick. But look at the spike, Mike. Look
at where Bose has drifted off B side already. They're already semi-committing to this retake.
The timing on this is unthinkable. Mazin, he could be so influential to the outcome. He's drawing and keeping 4 players dedicated to the site. He will lose his life. And surely now, they are now hitting that panic button because they know the rotation is going to be on the way. They need to get the spike down. They need it down now. Well, they needed it down 30 seconds ago.
They're pressuring spawn.
This is dangerous. They have to take a risk, I guess, somewhere. Otherwise, it's all but done. Enzo's going to find one. Khalil's gone down.
He's just ahead of the flash.
Oh, that could have been perfect, but it's far from it. And now they have to back away. You can see the wrap coming in. Fnatic just filtering through the rest of the map. They need an overwhelming win here, a clean fight, and they're not getting it. Fnatic clear this one through. Essential round for Fnatic to get to 11.
And it's beautifully done. Again, waiting behind that contact of the knife, almost expecting the knife reveals nothing. Furia going to shift walk up behind it, try and get set up, and immediately, I mean, it happened off screen. You can see it on the minimap. The fault line comes through. Alfie Air slides all the way through shop. They actually backstab Tube as well, which is so well coordinated. And actually on the back of that, Boaster, key for him not to give up his life. We're talking about committing very early on to the retake. They find the 1-man advantage. Once the second comes through, you can actually see Boaster curious to putting a snake bite into main and slowing down any further progress from Furia.
And now the ult's going to start hitting him for Fnatic to achieve. So we go back in. Timeout coming in this time was for Furia there. So let's see what they've adjusted. It looks like a lot of mid-presence, apparently.
I'm curious to see what the next step of this is, with where the knife is invested. A very deep trap placed in shop as well, just to prevent the same thing happening from the previous round. I think Furia fully in the know of how that information was obtained. Durka actually
lovely switch up.
Spots Mazine, but Mazine wisely backs away from it. Very proactive as well from Fnatic to come forward and deal with this trap as well. They don't want any control.
But I like
Furia.
But I like that he's still here, that he didn't get overly hungry for this, trying to maybe work out where that aggression's going to come in, holding mid control, also dealing with the extremities, almost just that little bit of a default, testing the aggressive waters that we know Fnatic were leaning into. Knife now going to come in. Does note a couple of players here, but again, Mystic super ready to go, just buying precious seconds here.
Actually running the clock down effectively. Boaster actually going to find a kill. Muzzy. Alfia should be able to pick up the second as well, and he does, just off screen in mid.
Brilliant. And now Furia left with a 3 that were over towards main. I'm pretty sure Fnatic are aware of potentially 2, 3 of the players.
Boaster, actually.
Yeah. And Mystic with a readjust. So perfect. This is really beautiful work. Khalil's still standing. is going to at least convert towards Mystic, so it's not completely over yet, but the Owl Drone and everything else starting to pile up against them. Boaster playing brilliantly on the side, being super slippery, hard to pin down. And this should be 12 for Fnatic, really finding their footing here in the second half after a great first half as well. Got a little worried when Furia started to carve a bit of room for themselves, but absolutely quelled.
To finally get to map point. Well, Furia now.
Match point.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a couple of them. I think actually going to be missing a shield or two. You have to get the light shields through, but you're absolutely right. Both are buying so much time there, just being slippery around Pyramid, not really giving anybody a comfortable engagement. They can't really collapse on him either. Really well played between him and Mystic, actually. Do Furia look to dial up the pressure here behind the null command? They might catch Durka early on here, preventing the TP. We'll disable that trap as well. Althea should be caught in radius. Actually, yeah, it could be problematic because Durka's actually on the operator as well.
Yeah, the side take. Alpha,
yeah, bails him
still
out.
gets Mazin down, and you're right. They get to live to fight another day. Underhand Flash will at least get them in towards the site, but they still haven't really cleared these back positions. Dirk is still fine for this. Can live for a second, hold the line as best he can and tap on the spike, but it's not committed! The swing and Durka gonna claim their life, and Fnatic just shutting this one down. Furia finding nothing. There's no fun anymore. Trying to play the finest of margins, but the numbers just so overwhelming now. Anything more to be found. Durka does get punished, but the spike's still deep in towards that B site.
Ento's still a million miles away from this as well, so Mystic's got to be careful here. The wall going to go up, actually put Mystic in a position where he's not going to be noted in the corner.
Big shot. Okay, they're not done yet. It's a 2v2. Maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe I you know, underestimated what they could achieve here, but
30 seconds left.
Asher and Enzo, I believe he's gone this close.
Still got to cross to find the spike though. 20 seconds. The clock is ticking.
The backfill
Furia under a load of pressure right now, Lauren.
Yeah, Boaster though, the timing on this is everything.
Beautiful.
Could be Divine, he's got one, the trade comes out, so it's down to the 1v1, but Enzo, this man is clutch as hell. So much pressure. Now put towards Furia.
A little misdirection as well. Puts the dart through, makes him double check. Tunnel, but
What's
actually will spot it and finds the fourth.
Was that a 2v4?
Yeah.
That could be, again, when we look at what can cause problems, that could be a tilter. You don't often carve your way through a 2v4. They make mistakes, they overpeak, they get punished a little here. But again, this, I've got to say, credit where it's due. Some of these shots were just on the money. Beautifully played.
That's the adjustment there. Like I said, Mystic had a dirty little pocket to play in with that wall.
So we could not work out our difference.
Great recovery from Furia.
Yeah.
Don't want to have to watch that one back.
Not loving that at all. 7-12 though. Ult sign a hit, a little delayed. We noted it before. They did have those ults really coming through online, and the aggression, the commitment. They're still walking towards Cave. The flash is there, just about gets away with his life. But Fnatic looking to tussle now.
Boaster actually will be able to avoid that. On the other side of things though, Mazin tagged up.
How's he
Enzo
alive?
can't close out the kill though.
Bloody hell. 35
35 HP.
Again, this mid pressure. They've dealt with that early play towards A, pushing towards Cave, but and the late investment from Boaster as well. They are going to kind of cut off B and the options. Oh, and this timing from Mystic could be heaven sent if he peeks over there.
You see the pings all the way up tube here. I think Furia are looking to address this.
There it is, timing. It's great.
Knife out.
Brilliant timing from Mystic as well. Gets to dip away and just picking them off piece by piece. Now they're on the site. They do put their own Viper's Pit down, but Alpha, it's a little messy, but he's got the shot. And now numbers massively favorable towards Fnatic.
Boaster might even pick up Mazin here.
Timing. Oh, who hears who first? Alpha is fallen. Mazin's going to hear this, needs to get there in time. Just losing track of Boaster here as Dirk has found one, so this is coming down a lot into Mazin's hands. And he can't do it! Khalil now the only one left alive! He's going to find a second! He needs two more, he's got 12 HP! Boaster catches his opposing number, and Fnatic convert, getting map 2 under the belt and taking us the distance.
It couldn't have come at a better time as well. Just with, like I said, I was so worried about one of those rounds just going. I think we look at a very different outcome here when Fnatic is still held at 10. But luckily, able to get this one across the line. Fantastic performance from Alfiera as well. That first half, again, you could see the support system that Fnatic are willing to invest around them. Like I said, Mystics, pretty much all of his utility was just to put him in a spot to find these freebies.
And what a player to do it for.
Yeah.
Couldn't imagine setting up a better player. Alfiera, we're starting to see that real mechanical form that we loved watching him bring out. Finally seeing that really slip into place here. And you got to feel in a weird way for Furia, because I can imagine in their minds, they saw that agent select come in, they're like, oh god, what have we come into here?
And I think as well, this is something that Fnatic actually massively taken the fight to him in terms of the first ones. I think it was 14 overall for Fnatic there. So it's not something that usually, you see them as an entire team build around. Like I said, we don't usually see these very, very pacey hits from Fnatic. They're usually, reactive kind of executions that are very well coordinated, but this is a really, really good look for Fnatic.
I love seeing this, and this should send, echoes throughout the rest of the tournament, depending on who gets to stay alive in here, that this map is very much within the map pool of Fnatic. Another one of those strong